Hey everyone, since this is National Suicide Prevention Week, I'd like to give my little story about how God helped me overcome suicide. So almost all my life, I won't say all my life, all my teenage years to young adult, early 20s, I suffered with depression. For a while I was in denial about not opening up, lying to myself like, oh, I don't have an issue. I'm like, oh, this is something what most teenagers go through, and like, oh, they have a depression phase, as in trying to fit in high school, trying to meet new people. But I think mine stemmed for like identity issues. One as a black man, I'm trying to think. Yeah, being black in my society, because you have so much weight to carry, and like, oh, you got to do this. You're not supposed to show emotion. You don't see nobody else dealing with this or not talking about it. So I just kept like all my emotions pent up. So once I released, my emotion came out as frustration and anger, which I lashed out on my family, particularly my mom and dad. Then my brother saw it, so my brother got like, oh, you gotta start acting right, yada yada yada. So I think before my 12th grade year, so in 2013, I'm like, yeah, Lord, I know. I was like part of a private school, and so all we did was talk about God. Now, I grew up in church, got saved at a young age, but I never felt, or never known my purpose in life, put it that way. I know for me, this is like a touchy topic, because I only opened up to my group of friends, family members. Some of my family don't know that I did do suicide attempts. But I thank God now, because when COVID came, I know I'm jumping over, but when COVID came, most people said, oh, that was like the most depressive state for the whole world. But in 2019 was the year I wanted to take my life. So since I dealt with identity issues, I didn't know who I'm supposed to be as a man, as a Christian. Then like the negative thoughts start circling in about, oh, if you're a Christian, why are you gonna let all this stuff bother you? Just pray about it. But after a while, I'm like keep praying about it, and going to the word and everything. I'm like, this is not working. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna pray. I'm not gonna do this. But I felt like battling thoughts. So you had the Holy Spirit and Satan just going back and forth. I said, Brian, you know what to do, and you know that God will provide a way. So I'm like, yeah. I'm not gonna listen to the Holy Spirit. So I'm just going to my thoughts. So with depression and frustration, I was tied to porn addiction. Started experimenting with weed. I wasn't like an alcoholic, but because every time I was trying to drink, I get sick, so that wasn't for me. What else? I need that porn addiction. Started middle school until, well, it's progressing now, so I'm lacking off. God has helped me in that area. I didn't know if I was good enough to be able to date somebody. I'm like, so why I'm gonna go out my own way to go and ask somebody out? Or the thoughts I was hearing that you too crazy to have someone to date you. Like, you got all this baggage. Who want all this baggage? So every time I stepped out, the fear of rejection came, because I dealt with rejection in high school. I'm like, ooh, do I want to step out? Do I not want to step out? Anyway, fast forward to 2019. I had a job. Everything was good, but my grades were dropping. I had 2 more semesters of my senior year in college. So my advisor said, you either have to find a different major or have to stop working. And I was looking at the odds. I'm like, ugh, I gotta stop making money. For me, parents' allowance wasn't enough. So I'm like, oh, let me get a side job and do stuff. But that wasn't an option. So I had to stop working 2019 January. The whole year, I was going through it mentally. It was not until, I believe, July to August 2019. I just sat in the kitchen, had a knife in my hand. I'm like, you know what? I might just do it. I'm not gonna leave no note. I'm not gonna tell my parents what's going on. I'm just gonna do it. I just sat there. Then all this anxiety of, oh wait, I might do it in the woods. Go out, drive my car off a cliff. Like these negative thoughts. So went through the last semester of college. On to my week of graduation. I'm like, okay, my school, you have to take all the exams, then it's graduation, so you don't know the results of your finals. So that would stress me out during graduation. So then even after I graduated, I'm like, okay, the fear of applying for a full-time job. So I'm like, okay, Lord, let me put the application in. I don't know if they want to see it. Then one of my friends' mom was telling me at church, she said, oh, you want the interview? You got it. You want the job? You got it. I went to the interview, act myself, let them know, like, yeah, I just came out of college. This is what I want to do. I had some previous lab experience. Then that day of the interview, I got the job. I'm like, look at this. It's all going good. Then that was January 2020. So 2 months later, in March, that's when the whole world shut down. I'm gonna try to like fast forward. I'm not trying to make this video too long, but I think from 2021 January to June 2021, I wanted a change. So I went back praying, fasting, because I looked at how God provided for me in the past, and after I like sat down and like wrote stuff down, so okay, God did this, God did that, and I'm like, okay, so what am I like stressing about? Then I told this to the church. I'm currently at Union Church in the DMV. I visit them. I'm like, okay, this is not bad. It's like different from other church. But when they say they have small groups and all this other stuff, I'm like, oh, that's why I probably need community. So one thing of encouragement, if you are suffering with depression, anxiety, I'm trying to like, any mental issues, get into community. Even if you're a Christian, whatever religious background you in, get in community. I know that people said pray about it until like go away, but no. You need something more than prayer, so go seek counseling, especially in the African American population. If you don't see no one else in your family going to counseling, let you be the one starting it off. There's oh, so-and-so just going through his normal thing. I'm like, no, don't let it keep being a cycle in your generation. Like let it start with you, as in going to seek counseling and help. So get in the community, get help. Do different outlets, as in, like, if you need to take a walk, go in the park, start an art class, go to museums, art museums. Like, go outside, don't be isolated. Like the thing my church always say, never do life alone. So never be in isolation. That's what I dealt with. I went to isolation. In the long run, as I look at it now, it wasn't the right option, because you can be overthinking so much. Think of scenarios that never happened in your head, like, oh yeah, that's what so-and-so did, then have a whole reality on that. The next thing, I'm trying to think, I'm sorry, I'm like zoning out. The next thing that happened, like, significantly, tell your story to somebody. So if you battle with addiction of drugs, alcohol, substance abuse, or it doesn't have to be like that. If you was a manipulator, a liar, cheater, tell somebody, and so you can get help on that. On the last time I ended off, it was October 2021 when I realized, I'm saying, wait a minute. I took a long, like probably an hour-long break, and just had a reflection about, ever since I joined Union Church and what they offer, I haven't had any like negative thoughts. I told my story to my Connect group. Then I said, told one of my friends, I'm like, this is how it felt to be delivered from something. I'm like, oh, okay. I was thinking it was like something grand, but I think it starts within you. Then it starts showing up outside of your body or around your environment. So as I end this video, it's been a year since, well, it's almost a year. It's October of this year. I do still have thoughts, but in order to go against those thoughts, I have different scriptures. I do continue to pray. Tell people in my Connect group that I'm hosting now, it's called Men to Minds. I would drop the link in the description. But it's basically about a mental health awareness group that people are like-minded or different backgrounds, beliefs, that come together on Sundays at 3 p.m. that talks about mental health. My co-host is the one that started all, so she wanted to have a safe space for everyone to take a step back and just reflect, relax. If you want more information about that, you can put a comment down below. I'm sorry, I'm eating the candy. Comment down below, message me, and I can tell you more about it.